We're just over a month into this year's tax season, and with that tax time comes the possibility of tax fraud and tax scams.
But here's the real question. Are you doing everything correctly during tax season? And do you know what to look out for when it comes to identifying scams? Well, our very own Cody Carlson gives us a few tips in his special report.
If you haven't gotten them done already, it's probably a good time to start thinking about filing your taxes. There are a few things to keep in mind when you're doing that. The first, make sure you're completely truthful when filling out your tax forms.
It's certainly the individual's responsibility to make sure that they are providing true and accurate information to either the preparer that's doing it for them or if they're doing them themselves. So if they're given fraudulent information to try to benefit themselves, it is getting tracked down and they're being held accountable for it.
By lying on the tax forms, you can get charged with tax fraud, grand larceny, and/or filing false information. If something seems off, an investigation will be launched, and if you're caught, you could face serious punishment.
Depending on the amount of fraud, in other words, the amount of money that they're going to obtain as a result of the fraudulent information they provided, could range anywhere from a misdemeanor to a felony. So that could be a year in jail or a $1,000 fine or up to imprisonment.
Another thing you need to look out for is tax scams. The two major scams going on right now happen over email or over the phone. Here's what you need to know.
I called the Internal Revenue Service, or IRS, to see what they could say about these scams. I spoke to Clay Sanford, a spokesman for the IRS, who gave me a few signs to look out for if you think someone is trying to scam you over the phone.
The thing to remember off the bat is that IRS won't call if you owe taxes without first sending a bill in the mail. And by that I mean the regular U.S. mail, and it would be on paper.
In fact, you should receive several notices in the mail before receiving a phone call. Phishing is the other big scam happening around the country. Scammers will contact you through email, posing as an IRS employee, saying you owe money and you need to pay. Once again, this should raise a red flag.
But to get an unsolicited email from IRS, and especially one that asks for personal information, things like that, that would not happen.
Another problem you need to be aware of is fraudulent tax preparers. If you're having someone do your taxes for the first time, do some research before you pick a tax preparer.
Be wary of a tax preparer who would base their fee on the amount of a refund that you might get. That would be a red flag. And if it sounds too good to be true, then as the old saying goes, it probably is.
So tax season is here, and maybe you need some help doing your taxes, or maybe you don't know how to do your taxes. Well, thanks to United Way of the Southern Tier and Arbor Housing and Development, there is a simple and free way to get them done.
The United Way is offering free tax filing for households whose gross income is $54,000 or less. The process is simple. Set up an appointment through the United Way of the Southern Tier and bring your proper tax forms, income tax documents, and a photo ID. When you get there, you will fill out an interview intake form. They will then take all the necessary documents and file your taxes for you. Within 10 days, your return will be deposited into your bank account.
I think it helps people understand their taxes better because we try to educate them. It gets them all the credits that they're entitled to, and it's free. They don't have to pay a preparer, which will use some of their refund. So.
Another way you can get your taxes done is through free websites like My Free Taxes and TurboTax.com. But do some research to make sure the website is legitimate. Don't forget the tax filing deadline is April 18th. For more information about tax scams or for free tax programs, head to our website, WENY.com. With this special report, I'm Cody Carlson, WENY News.